Welcome to Here to Be Human, a multi-dimensional soul. This is not just a podcast, it's a remembering. A space where soul meets skin and the sacred meets the messy. Where spirit is not something you escape into, it's something you embody here in this beautiful, chaotic, breathtaking human life. Each episode is a living transmission, a weaving of energy, truth, reflection, and remembrance, with questions for your soul, messages from beyond, and invitations to meet yourself in ways you've never dared to before. Whether you're walking through shadow or starlight, you belong here. I am Julie, your guide, your mirror, your voice in the void. This is Here to Be Human, and you are right on time. Fear doesn't mean you're off path. It often means you're right at the edge of something that matters. This is Here to Be Human, a multidimensional soul, and this is episode 7, Fear, Courage, and the Threshold of the Unknown. So here we invite you to reflect, and I just want you to ask yourself, what am I afraid to move toward? Because I know it will change me. So if you need to close your eyes and take a deep breath in and out, please do so. I'll say the prompt again. What am I afraid to move toward? Because I know it will change me. And just allow yourself to feel the truth rising beneath the resistance. So let us move over to segment 1. Fear as a threshold, not a stop sign. We're taught to avoid fear, to conquer it, or to bypass it altogether. But fear is not the enemy. It's a sign that you're at a threshold, a doorway between who you've been and who you're becoming. And fear says you are entering unknown territory. Your old identity won't work here. The map ends here. Now you build it. And yes, it can feel like death, because in some ways it is, but not of your soul, only of your limitation. So let me open up the space for us to hear clearly as to what spirit may want us to know. Again, take these insights and messages and guidance only with what resonates with you. You can always come back at a later date and see if anything has shifted within you as you evolve and grow. And again, I encourage you to take a moment here and also see what spirit is communicating to you based on these questions. So here we go. Okay. First question to spirit is, what do we need to know about walking with fear instead of against it? So that question again is, what do we need to know about walking with fear instead of against it? Okay. When we're walking with fear, it encourages us to look at the fear head on. And what I mean by head on is that you see it, you feel it. It's not walking in front of you. It's not walking behind you. It's right beside you. And when it's right beside you, you feel that you are an equal of it. Meaning that if you are in equal frequency of the fear, then you will have a better understanding of where that fear has come from originally, whether someone said something to you, whether something had happened in the past. And once you know it, you feel the energy of it, you understand where it's coming from. By walking with it, you'll be able to preempt or possibly even know as it's happening if you're allowing the fear to walk in front of you. So if fear is walking in front of you, it is pausing you where you are at. It's stopping you in your tracks because it's so far in front. And if fear is way behind you, then you are walking in a space of resistance. I'm running away from my fear. So you may be walking off track. If fear is all the way there, you could be darting in the wrong direction because you're just trying to avoid the fear. And that in itself will also stop you in your tracks, or again, veer you onto a different path that's probably not the best one for you, or not in alignment with where you're wanting to go. So the best thing is don't walk against the fear. Don't resist the fear. Don't let it overpower you. Don't run away from it. Walk alongside it, because the more you walk alongside it, the more you understand your fear, the more you understand what your triggers are, why it's actually happening. And then when you're more aware of the fear becomes smaller. It never goes away. There's always something that's going to pop on up and we're going to be like, oh, hang on a moment. I don't know if I want to do that. It didn't work in the past. And I'm a little bit fearful of, putting myself out there or taking a leap of faith on a project that, I really, really want to work towards. All it does is when we're walking beside fear, it can sometimes feel that it's taller than us or larger than us, so to speak. But again, by walking alongside it, understanding the ins and outs and the frequency and energy of it, the fear begins to, be at your height, so to speak. The more you kind of walk with it, fear becomes smaller and smaller and smaller until it's just there as a protective mechanism for you just to question, oh, is this really what I'm wanting to do? And if you feel it in your soul that, yes, this is the right move forward, it's within alignment with where I'm going, you're going to take that leap of faith. And that fear is just a check-in point, but it doesn't become anything that stops you from actually moving towards your goals, your visions, your dreams, a person, a new job, all that type of stuff. And that's what we need to know about walking with fear, is that the noise becomes less and less. The volume gets turned down, and it only makes itself present as a check-in point, as opposed to the be-all and end-all of your decision making. So if you can visualize fear as a being, right? Sometimes we need to allocate it something as humans. We're programmed for our conscious mind to, touch and feel and all that type of stuff. So if we look at it as like, a bigger person, just a little bit bigger than us, you can associate a color with it, like a friendly color. Doesn't be bad, like nothing negative. Couldn't get my words out just then. And just see it as you continue to go, becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then it just becomes a checkpoint. And if you see then that energy in front of you, like way in front of you, then it's taking over and you need to rein it back in and just check in with yourself as to why it's making you feel that way, or why you have given so much power into your fear. Yeah. Same with if you're running away from your fear. That's that level of resistance. Like, oh no, I'm just going to put my blinders on and don't want to see or hear anything. That also will keep you stuck. And this is about helping you move forward. And sometimes a good level of fear, because we've learned through experience, can have a really positive impact on our life when we just use it as a checkpoint instead of pushing up against it. Okay. Our next question, what do we have here? Ooh, so why does fear show up right before something important opens? Interesting. Okay. And I feel like this has happened to everyone. I know it's happened to me. Um, Sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's doubt, insecurity, you know, whatever comes up for you. But I've always found that on the precipice of change, and that's what I'll call it. So when something important opens up, I feel like it's a positive change. It's something that you've asked for. It's something that you have manifested or you've co-created with the universe. That's what normally will show up. Like it's something that's really good for you. It's something that helps you heal, helps you on the healing journey. It helps you on the journey of like evolvement and all that type of stuff. Or it just opens up an opportunity that gets you to fulfill a vision that you had or a dream or even like a new level up in your relationship. And so when this fear shows up, it's just testing you. It's a universe saying, do you really want this? Do you want the change to actually take place that you have been asking of us to bring to you? Or do you want to stay where you currently are? And so we always have a choice point as we're moving through this world and we're moving through our experience. So feel the fear, connect with its energy and frequency. Remember to keep it by your side, not in front, not behind. And to me, it feels like it's the soul getting excited because sometimes I'm a big believer in that, we label all of these emotions and biologically, like excitement and a level of fear or anxiety can actually come across the same. So when we're anxious about something, we can have like sweaty palms and our heart's palpitating and we're getting all like, woo. But same thing will happen if like you're about to start a new project, or same like when you're going to walk down the aisle and get married. And it's like, oh my God, you have the sweaty palms and the heart's pumping, but not because you're scared about this next chapter in your life. You're actually excited. So I think here, let's just kind of like change it up a little bit. That to me, it feels like we'll feel the fear or what is perceived fear, but I actually feel like it's the soul getting you excited to say, hey, you're in alignment. But the problem is that our society has made us to believe that we're not worthy of the most amazing opportunity to come into our life. And so that's why it's like our conscious mind switches into gear and he's like, oh, something bad's going to happen. I better not move. I better just stand still. I'm feeling something happening. But really, it's the soul. The more you connect with the soul, the more you have your practices that you can like take a moment and register back into the self, you'll actually feel that something exciting is about to happen. Because I know just from experience and also working with clients for such a long time, once you work in your practice, once you stay aligned, that doesn't mean like it's perfect. There's no such thing as like perfect spiritual practices or being perfectly in alignment, right? You're a human. So it's going to be a little bit like not a straight line, put it that way. It's like a spiral, to be honest, a very fun spiral. But when you talk to your friend, like, oh my God, I feel like something awesome is about to happen. It's that when you are more connected back to the self. When you're not connected to the self, or you've allowed life, I guess, to get in the way, and um, you're not kind of coming back to the body or listening to the body. You're just like on autopilot in the doing phase. Then it can come up as fear that's like scary, where you go like, oh, I feel like something bad's going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, it's not that anything bad has happened. It's just a change has occurred. Something has opened up for you, and you can now move forward on the thing that you want. And that's why I feel like it's important that we don't label too much stuff. And we just say that right before something opens up for us, that's important, that it's exciting. And I'm not talking about when people have premonitions. I'm just talking about the average person on their journey. And if you're more connected to the self, then that little fear that comes up, you have your checkpoint. You're like, actually, I think there's something really good that's going to happen here, but I'm a little bit nervous about it. That's the fear that technically that shows up for you. But if you're disconnected to the body, then the fear could actually create a level of anxiety. And it's not until that thing happens that you go, oh, I wasn't that bad. And that's just because you've accidentally, or just because you haven't like experienced it or been taught this, the fear has been running the show. And so it's really important that, again, coming back to the first question that we asked Spirit, is always having Spirit by your side, but the volume turned down and it being a checkpoint. So you can feel the fear when something important is coming up, but you can trust your gut that you've got this. And no matter what it is, you're going to deal with it. It's going to be amazing, because on the other side of whatever this thing is, there is growth and evolution. And it might even be the thing that you wanted, a new job, a tick to say, yes, we're going to buy a house, or, whatever it is that's coming up for you. And a lot of the times it's things that we have put in place to manifest. So as we're moving now over to segment 2, which is courage is nervous system capacity. Courage is nervous system capacity. So courage is not about having no fear. It's about expanding your capacity to stay present with fear without collapsing. So the more grounded your body becomes, the more capacity you have to meet fear without abandoning yourself. This is the nervous system work of courage. Right? You breathe slower, ground deeper, feel more, react less, stay longer. Let me repeat that for you. The nervous system work of courage: breathe slower, ground deeper, feel more, react less, stay longer. Because courage isn't loud. It's steady, it's embodied, and it's a frequency that says, even here, I remain. So let's pause and bring through something deeper about this steady bravery when it comes to courage from Spirit. Okay. Let's see, which question? Ooh. What does true courage feel like in the body? So that's what we're asking Spirit. What does true courage feel like in the body? It's interesting. The first thing that I get is it feels like almost like a surge of energy, but it's not an overpowering energy. It just feels like the light has gone on within. That's kind of what I'm feeling. And as this light goes on, or this kind of like, I don't, it's not electricity because I'm not feeling like a buzz, but it's almost like, it's like lights are on, everything is on. It's like all systems go. And that true courage, when that happens, the next thing that I keep getting shown is that there is a level of stillness that takes place. So true courage in the body may feel like something has been switched on. You're more alert. So you're allowing more clarity to come in. You're more aware of your environment. And the body is feeling safe within the space because it knows that you're in control. And then there's a level of stillness. And it's within that stillness that you may feel a number of different emotions creeping through, whether that's fear, excitement, insecurity, aliveness. And that is your body's signal in moving through the noise, moving through any labels or any old programming. Almost like just, it's almost like I see like a whole bunch of labels coming in and your body going, not that one, not that one, not that one, not that one. And so then you get into this place of like where you're like, in this stillness, there is no fear. In this stillness, I know I'm about to make the right decision. Because courage doesn't always have to be a physical thing that you do. Courage could be a shift in perspective that changes the dynamic of the rest of your life. And your body is signaling to you a switch on, clarity, stillness, awareness of the environment. And it's in that moment you do not react. You may not even act. It feels like the body's asking you to process, be present, and be aware of what the next step is for you. And it's all about you making the decision, because I kept using the word clarity, clarity, clarity. It's like clarity kicks in. And that is where true courage can step forward, because there isn't fear or doubt or insecurities trying to come into your conscious mind. It really just is feeling almost like a presence it's weird. It's like a presence takes over you, but it's not an actual presence. It's just you feel at peace and at calm. And that's what it feels like in the body. And it might just be a moment, but you're just like, yep, I'm all in. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make that call. I'm going to take that job. I'm going to say yes to that relationship. I'm going to book that flight and take that holiday. It's just that courage to be like, yes, I am now fully in alignment because my body is still. It is forcing me to be still, and all the lights are on, and I now know where I need to be or what it is I need to do. That is true courage. So I invite you now just to take a moment and to ask yourself, when was the last time you moved forward, even with fear in your chest? Remember how I said before, it was like all these labels were coming in, and the soul was like, not that one, not that one, not that one. Let it go, let it go, let it go. So when was the last time you moved forward, even with fear in your chest? And allow yourself to name that quiet, brave moment. So as we gently move now over to segment 3, the soul craves the unknown. Remember that your soul didn't come here to repeat what it already knows. It came to expand, to touch the edge, to live into the mystery. The unknown is where magic begins, and while your mind may resist it, your soul is already reaching for it. You may not know what happens next, but what if that's not a threat, but a gift? So let me ask something here of spirit that wants to emerge. So our question to spirit, and also to yourself, feel free to channel your own messages. Why is the unknown so essential to the soul's evolution? Ooh, this is interesting. Why is the unknown so essential to the soul's evolution? And this can be looked at in a number of different forms. So when I'm talking about the unknown, it could be the unknown of the universe, the unknown of the meaning of life, but also the unknown of what's going to happen next for you. So even though I work with clients and we look at situations and next steps and what might be coming up in the potential future and outcome for them, I still am not able to see everything because it is essential for the soul to not know all the finer details. As much as we may want to, as much as we want to know exactly what's going to be said and how it's going to be said, and almost like watching a movie unfold, like just giving you the tape of like, okay, so here's the next 3 months. This is exactly what's going to happen day by day, hour by hour. It's important that that's not what you're searching for, because you can have touch points. You can know touch points, whether that is through your own spiritual practices on your journey, through your own journaling, through seeking wise counsel. So you'll only be given touch points. Like, these are some of the potential situations that will unfold, or this is why certain things have unfolded. But ultimately, the soul can only evolve through the felt experience in the moment. And I don't believe that any psychic, medium, spiritual person could ever detail what your soul is going to feel in any one given moment. They can articulate what may happen, how you may feel. But I guarantee you, no matter how much insight you have about what's about to occur, how it goes down, how you feel, the emotions, like what your mental capacity is like unfolding, all that type of stuff, that is unknown to you. That is what the soul wants. It wants to feel all of the experience without you trying to navigate or dictate how you want it to be. Because if you know everything, if you try and move all the chess pieces so you feel a certain way, chances are something will shift and something else will happen. And all of a sudden, you're going to feel that experience, because the soul needs to continue to evolve through its lessons, through situations, through how you show up for yourself. Because if you knew 100% what someone was going to say to you and how you would respond, it's just like you having some programming in your mind to be like, say this when this person says that. You can always prepare for things. But how many times have you prepared, like, oh, okay, I'm going to have this conversation with this person and this is what I'm going to say. But when you're in it, it's like everything that you wrote down, maybe a tenth of what you wrote down actually comes out the way you wrote it down. But having the open dialogue with that person and just being open to seeing what is experienced through that connection, it's like it becomes more profound. It becomes more alive and real for you. That is why the soul doesn't want you to know every single step. It allows you to have touch points. It allows you to have understanding. It allows you to prepare to a certain extent. But it's essential for the soul to continue to evolve that you don't know all the intricate details. And that's why the unknown is so essential, which is why we don't know anything really. At the end of the day, we don't really know anything about the universe, apart from like, some scientific things and spiritual things that we experience. But that's just scratching the surface. There's so much more to the unknown. There's so much more to the universe. And it's because we don't know it that we are determined to connect with it. We are determined to see what it can provide for us, how it can kind of help us on this journey. And it's when we do that, we connect deeper, we learn more, we evolve more, and then we can contribute back into community with what we have learned through our experience. And sometimes it's that knowledge and experience that you share with others that could actually change their life. So, before we move on to the integration ritual, I want you to sit with this insight. When fear shows up, it may be your soul's way of saying, this matters, stay with it, there's more on the other side. So our ritual today is called Even This Is Sacred. And this is walking with fear, not against it. So find a place where you can either sit or stand, wherever you are. And I really want you to feel the ground beneath you. Let your shoulders drop. You can close your eyes if you need to. Take a deep breath in and out. And say, I'm allowed to be afraid. I can feel fear and still stay present. The unknown is not my enemy. Even this moment is sacred. I walk with courage. I walk with care. I walk with spirit beside me. Let the breath return. Let the body feel safe again. And I invite you to reflect on this one thing. One small thing I'm ready to face. So name one small thing that you are ready to face, even if you don't feel ready. And just remember that readiness isn't a feeling. It's a choice made with reverence. So fear is not the end. It's the beginning of something real, something sacred, something new. In our next episode, we look at shadow work and the parts of you that want to be seen. So until then, hold the line, feel the fear, and step forward anyway. Thank you for being here fully. If today's episode stirred something in you, if you have a follow-up question, a reflection you'd like to share, or a way this conversation aligned with where you are right now, I'd love to hear from you. And if there are specific questions you'd like me to ask Spirit in future episodes based on what's coming up for you, send me a direct message at here.to.be.human.podcast on the Instagram page. Remember, your voice, your questions, your presence, they're part of this journey too. And if you'd like to connect with me more deeply, you'll find everything, sessions, programs, and updates over at www.moderndayMedium.com.au or on my Instagram page, which is at modern.day.medium. This is your invitation. This is the return. And this is what it means to be human. So until next time, stay with yourself, stay with your soul, and keep choosing this sacred, messy, and miraculous life.